Good evening all, and welcome to the March 10th, 2026 meeting in public of the Abbotsford Board of Education. I'll call the meeting to order. And I will begin by acknowledging that the Abbotsford School District is on the traditional and unceded territory of the Samath First Nation and the Matsqui First Nation. With this, we respect the long-standing relationship that Indigenous nations have to this land as they are the original caretakers. And this is the time in which we're going to stand and sing O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command, with glowing hearts we sing their rise, much more strong and free, from far and wide of heaven, we stand on Lord for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand onward for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand onward for
How many have been to Niagara Falls and have stood at that spot? Okay. That's the only spot I think I recognize from that, but it's, man, we live in a beautiful country. Before we start, I'll just say that regrets from Trustee Kanda Rajwan. She couldn't be with us tonight, but we shall proceed
Move
with
to
the six
adopt
of
the
us.
agenda.
Thank you. Trustee Rai,
Second Wilson.
Trustee Roush.
Can I say something? Move to adopt the agenda with the change that we move 7.1 after adjournment.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah. I think we're going to say no to that. No, but,
Okay.
a couple more to vote.
There it goes.
And you've had a chance to read the minutes of the public board meeting from February 10th. Looking for approval of those minutes. Thank you, Trustee
Second
Kaler.
Wilson.
Trustee White.
Move consent items, Wilson.
Trustee Wilson, okay. Trustee Rai, we need you to vote on this last one, please.
Second.
Trustee Wilson, Trustee Rai on the consent items.
I'm sorry, where?
Trustee Rai, Trustee Wilson, Trustee Rai.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're zooming along here, sorry.
No, so it's all good.
Okay. And you're going to move us ahead. There we go. All right. So, good people, we have a rather very special announcement here tonight. And I would say we'd have a guest to read this announcement to, but in fact, not a guest, but a member of our board. And I'm going to get to read this wonderful statement here. All right. Just getting it up on my screen here. There we go. Our very own Trustee Shirley Wilson was first elected to the Board of Education in 2005, making her one of the district's longest-serving governance leaders. During her tenure, she has held several key leadership roles, including chair in 2016, 2017, 2019, 2024, and 25, and as vice chair in 2014, and currently the vice chair. In addition, Trustee Wilson serves as a director of the BCPC Board of Directors and participates in numerous internal and external committees and councils. For 2 decades, she has supported equity, innovation, and strong governance. Throughout her 6 terms, Trustee Wilson has positioned herself as student-centered, family-focused, and community-oriented, highlighting the importance of preparing students for long-term success and ensuring the district remains responsive to community needs. She believed that each and every student success depends on having the right people in the right roles, whether that's the teacher in the classroom, the principal, the bus driver, the custodian, administrative assistants, senior staff at the board office, or a trustee at the table. To her, strategic vision and fiscal accountability are cornerstones for the Abbotsford School District. Her ongoing service demonstrates a strong dedication to public education in Abbotsford and to the long-term success of students across the district. Congratulations, Trustee Wilsons, on your 20 years of dedicated service on the Abbotsford School District Board of Education. All right. Yay. And from us to you. I grew these flowers. No, I didn't.
I figured you might have.
Can I do that? Yay. All right.
Careful, Larry's here.
All right. I think there has to be a short response to that. So we'll give you the floor.
Thank you, Chair Peterson. He wants a short response. That would be fairly
Yeah.
typical. I would just want to note that. But thank you. I won't give you highlights from 20 years, but I will say that it has been my distinct pleasure to be elected 6 times, finding that support within our community that I get to do this. And by saying I get to do this, this is important work. There's not a lot of reward at times. There is risk, but the rewards when they come in are significant and great and more profound than many other things that I could wish for or hope for. It has been, I think I'm on my, wait a minute, I have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My 5th superintendent and I think it's actually my 5th secretary treasurer as well. So to be able to do this in this year and in these times, I just want to express appreciation to the public and to my colleagues. And thank you for that. And thank you for the recognition of each student, because each one brings something to our district differently from each other. And I'm so proud that we can recognize that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Trustee Wilson. Isn't it great that your husband's here to celebrate with you? All right. Okay, we'll move. Superintendent's mid-year report.
Great. Thank you, Chair Peterson, and congratulations again, Trustee Wilson, on 20 years. So it's my pleasure to bring to the board the superintendent's mid-year report, which really is a culmination of all the reports that you've received since October of this year around your strategic plan. And so I'm happy to capture some of the highlights this evening in my report to you. It does start with direction from the Ministry of Education around the idea of an educated citizen and this goal we have around thoughtful young people who can communicate information, who can think critically, this idea of being creative and flexible and motivated with a positive image of themselves, capable of making independent decisions, their contributions to society, and this idea of being productive, cooperative, principled, and respectful, and prepared to exercise their responsibilities as an individual within their family, their community, and this place we call Canada and the world. And For the board, this is captured in your vision and your mission. So this idea of a world-class, innovative, and individualized educational experience for each and every student, and preparing and inspiring our students for a lifetime of success. And that is what we hope when our employees walk through the threshold of the door every day, that they are there to prepare and inspire our students. This is built on the values that the board has set forward for the organization of integrity and communication, respect and trust, teamwork, and these are really fundamental to the work that I will talk to that is captured within your strategic plan. So this policy for student success, again, in alignment with the work being done provincially, really around this idea of the educated citizen. And, you know, the tools that we have through our curriculum and our assessment and reporting policies really shape the work that we do across the 4 pillars in your strategic plan. So this is inclusive of the 16 objectives, the 85 strategies, and the numerous projects and initiatives that take place under these different initiatives. The board's plan runs 2024 to 2028, and it's about this line of sight. And so every aspect of organization, the 3,500 employees, and their connection to the work around what we're doing in service of students is really important. This idea, again, mapped out through the different strategies you'll see there, represents the cause and effect relationship of the pillars, and then the objectives and the actions we put forward that help us reach those overarching goals that you've set out for staff. And really, it's about sharing our story, right? And we've really tried to capture that, and hopefully through the different presentations this year, you've seen the value that is held in the organization through the storytelling exercise that we've done this year that has accompanied each of the reports from senior staff since October. Because it's about leading together and building brighter futures, and that has been the theme for us this year. I just want to go back and capture as well, part of the work that we've done this year has been around what are the priorities. And certainly the board has listed literacy and numeracy as top priorities, followed by early learning and student well-being and careers and core competencies. And that sets out from a continuous improvement cycle things that we're committed to organizationally. That doesn't discount, and there are other pieces that fall within the top 10, our commitment to parent engagement, our commitment to staff recruitment and retention, and graduation success. These are all important aspects of the work that we're doing here in the Abbotsford School District. So to touch on the first pillar around progressive workforce, I'm going to touch on some of the things that you've heard, again, over the course of the last few months that I just want to highlight for you. So under that progressive workforce pillar, our continuing work around increasing employee engagement. And you would have witnessed, I think it was last week, if I'm not running my weeks together, around some of the work we've done with our Awards of Excellence and our long-term service, and the commitment that we have for staff and our ability as an organization to recognize that particular piece. And that's an important part of the fabric of our culture. Again, our cross-department sponsorship, so the work that we do through our Learning Services Department, our Curriculum Department, and the work that we do together towards student success, and this idea of working together to increase in the engagement of our staff. And again, just some highlights here for you. So from an internal comms perspective, and the great work that's happening by our senior manager, Christy Ferguson, and her staff, really around making and highlighting those stories, making them visible to employees and to the community. And so you'll see a number of things that we've worked on over this current school year around the intranet that we have up, along with some internal campaigns and update videos and looking at different ways that we can share the success stories in the district to boost and help employees see the value that they bring. Another objective is the improved recruitment and retention of staff, and this is a conversation we've had at the board table around the importance and the challenging landscape we have right now with respect to staffing. And so this is really built on our work to foster a sense of belonging, supporting various professional development opportunities and strengthening relationships with new and prospective educators. So our shared learning day and our continual involvement of what that looks like is an important piece. And then the work that we're doing with post-secondary in terms of reaching out and hosting practicum students as a way to get them into our district to help with the recruitment piece. Additionally, looking at the importance of, again, with a newer teacher contingent, our district mentoring program, and then with, again, the number of employees that we have, looking at and reviewing the ways in which we orient and onboard new employees to the school district. As well, improving leadership capacity, and this is joint work between our senior staff, specifically our HR department and our deputy and our assistants, around implementing a leadership development program for new and emerging leaders. And this is something that we've been evolving over time, and there's a picture of the group, I think from last year. But again, the importance of cultivating and supporting leadership in our district. It's a critical role, and they're kind of the linchpin of the work that we do in our schools and our strategy to support them in their learning and growth. Again, under the progressive workforce, improving employee health, safety, and resiliency. A number of things there. I won't read them all to you, but again, our focused attention on making sure that we have safe working environments, and our work to increase capacity of our staff, our work by our OH&S department around site-based safety and risk assessments, and then the various kinds of professional development we offer in this area is something I wanted to highlight for you this year. Which brings us to the engaging opportunities pillar, and within this, a piece that's important, an important piece of the work that we do that is continues to be a priority for the board is around increasing parent and community engagement. And again, working to strengthen our brand identity. So again, our connection with our communication department, and then finding various ways across our 46 sites to implement approaches to improve parent and community engagement. And this comes in the form of many different pieces, whether it's volunteers in the school to help support school-based activities or volunteering to read to kids, to family nights or family dinners. We just had a great iftar out at Abbey Middle last week, and a number of families showing up, and just finding different ways to bring families in and create welcoming environments to communicate with them around the progress that their child is making in their schools, and to work in partnership and in support of one another to increase the success of our students in every one of our schools. Just some information in terms of engagement, and again, working really hard around the digital engagement and using that as a tool. And I've been sharing some of this with you over the course of this year with some of the work that's happening, again, supported by our communications department. And you can see some of the increases there. You know, just if you look at the Instagram piece and some of the work happening, and an increase of over 500% in terms of engagement, and again, looking at ways in which we can connect with families around the great work happening in our schools and invite them in. And then just a piece, again, I know it's small, hard to see, but just capturing and tracking what's drawing attention from the storytelling perspective. And I think that's really important as we share information with families, the ability to share the story. And we've been really focused on that. And again, lots of credit to our communications department around the work that they're doing to support this storytelling work in our school district. One last objective here under this pillar is the improve the use of technology, and this is a big one and has a number of pieces to it. But I wanted to highlight a couple of things. So you heard from our director for IT, Steve Stobie, around our continued work around our IT security posture and the need as we venture forward and look at innovative practice for us to attend to the security and privacy piece, and that's something that we take pride in and that we continue to stay on top of as a school district. We have some large work happening through our finance department and our HR department around the ERP, Enterprise Resource Product Program. And no small undertaking that happens in the background for us, and this is ongoing work, and fingers crossed, we will get there by the end of the year in terms of full implementation, but it's no small undertaking. And then, as you're aware, we underwent our evergreening process this past summer, and so that process to make sure that we have the right equipment in the right hands of staff in schools continues to be a piece of the work. The third pillar, optimize resources. And again, connecting all back to everyone working towards student success, but wanted to highlight our continuing work in this area around increasing the capacity of our school facilities. So we have 20,000 students across 46 sites, and managing enrollment and space is no easy or small task. And that's in consultation with our facilities department and our director of facilities, Greg Forbes King, where we look at space utilization, and then through Greg's work, our ability to work with the ministry to advance capital projects. And you would have seen, we had a couple of years ago the Irene Kelleher piece. We have the completion of projects at Stenerson and Augustin, and then this year the recently completed expansion or extension to Abbey Middle. One of the strengths of the district, and led and supported by our Secretary-Treasurer here, Monica Schulte, is our fiscal stewardship and transparency. And this, focused on sustainable procurement practices and mitigating risk and maximizing cost efficiencies. So making sure we have the right controls in place in terms of the things in which we're engaged in from a purchasing perspective. Our ability to track all of the work happening throughout all of our sites with respect to maintenance work, and just making sure we're in compliance. And again, our system is driven by funding through enrollment and the work by Monica and her staff to support our education side to make sure the work we do in that area is maximizing funding and space in our schools. Another area that I would point to is our increase the resources available to fund capital equipment. This is an ongoing area. It is an area of need, and all districts are grappling with less money to do more with. But this idea, our continued work to review our technology needs, to review our facility needs, things like our white fleet, so the vehicle fleet, and being very efficient with the dollars we spend to make sure that every possible dollar that we can is directed towards student success and on the education side, but knowing that we need equipment to make that all work. The last pillar, student success. And you'll be familiar with all of this information, which has been presented to you over the course of December, January, February, from our directors of instruction, Tracy Chris and Michelle Garing, our assistants, Bruce Cunning, Lisa Berdini, and our deputy superintendent, Pete Nuge. And this first one around improving student success in literacy, you would have heard themes around our focus on data-driven approaches to literacy instruction, and so our continued work around assessment, working with some ministry guidance around literacy screeners, and our own work around a data dashboard, EdPlan Insight. And so we continue to engage in that work with staff, and this is accompanied with the second year of the implementation of our locally developed literacy framework. What we see is cross-department pieces, and you would have heard from Tracy and Michelle about the work that our curriculum department does with our LSS department in terms of work to increase accessibility to literacy for some of our learners with diverse abilities and disabilities. You heard about some of our communities of practice, specifically the FACES project that Director Chris is involved in, and some of the work that we're doing around creating accessible literacy resources, again, for some of our students with inclusive education needs. You've seen this data slide before over the course of the last 5 years, and while there is a decline in literacy achievement through some of the standardized measures through the FSA, this is a provincial trend, and again, in support of the board's priorities, our continued work to look at different ways in which we can drive literacy instruction to improve the results that we're seeing for students in our school. On the numeracy end, mirrors a bit with the literacy piece around some of the work that we're doing. Again, we have a fulsome approach to data and assessment. Again, EdPlan Insight and our collection and use of both local and provincial data, so FSA for 4 and 7, along with our grad assessment for numeracy, and then locally our use of the SNAP, used, I'll say primarily through our elementary and middle schools, and the introduction of a numeracy framework. And so lots of work, again, engaging with staff in conversations, and our classroom supports, right? And we've noted some challenges around the numeracy assessment, and that's been provincial when we get into our secondary schools, and so there's some continued work and conversations happening around what that looks like and how we can prepare our students for that. And you would have heard, again, as a part of the presentations over the last few months, this continued conversation around math versus numeracy, right? And as we implement the numeracy framework, our conversations around how we can better equip students moving forward in this area of numeracy. Again, similar data that you would have seen in the past, and again, overall trends where we do see some declines over time, but that is in line with what provincially we're seeing across the board. The other areas around student sense of well-being, and a number of pieces that are happening here with respect to this work. In the district, we have a long-standing history of student voice work that has happened right back to YC 34 to the current iterations. All of you, over time, been a part of our district planning team and the youth voice that is there, as well as the twice-a-year forums that we hold in secondary, where we engage young people in some of the work and support of their agency around projects in their school related oftentimes to well-being. I would reference some of the work that we do with the middle years and some of the other instruments, so from the EDI to the MDI to the YDI. These are all external measures that look at some of these areas related to adult connection, school safety and belonging, etc., that contribute to achievement in our schools. And I mentioned this before in terms of making the connection between well-being and success to literacy and numeracy, and what we know of and has been captured by the ministry in some of their data around students who experience higher levels of belonging, safety, and well-being and engagement and mental health contribute to higher academic achievement in the areas of literacy and numeracy in the 10 to 25% range. And so they all work in concert with one another to help us achieve the board's goal of improved success in literacy and numeracy. The last area is around this idea of core competencies and improvement in core competencies. And this is the unique piece of the curriculum that we have here in BC. And when you go back to this idea of the global citizen and what we're working towards, these core competencies, which really capture the idea of skills and communication, creative and critical thinking, personal and social responsibility. These skills span across all areas and lead to this idea of the educated citizen and the productivity and contributions to the communities that they belong in. And so we continue to work on these pieces, and it's certainly a part of the reporting process that teachers are involved in with their kids on a day in, day out basis. And it's about equipping students with the knowledge and skills to be successful after graduation, right? And how do we support and promote their agency with respect to their learning? I would highlight, and you heard from, again, our Assistant Superintendent, Bruce Cunnings, some of the work that's happening, and I just wanted to highlight at secondary, the project that they are involved in with Chart Lab out of SFU and Dr. Hasina Samji and her team. And you've heard a couple of times this work, and so this is connected to the Student Voice Forums that we have this year. And so Dr. Samji and her team came out in October, worked with the teams. Those students are now in their schools conducting their action research around one of these tools in the toolkit of social connection, and then they will meet again in May to see if did that work have an impact on their site. So it really focuses on this agency piece for kids and young people, but then feeds into this idea that their contributions and how they can help support improvements in the experience at school, and in particular this idea of social connection, which has been noted as an area that perhaps is lacking in general for young people. Again, really small, but I would just highlight the transition to post-secondary continues to be an important part in that careers component, and you had a chance to hear around some of the work that's happening in our careers department, both at our last district planning team, as well as a report from our district principal for careers, Mike Pearson. And again, we're striving and working better. We want kids to have different pathways into different opportunities. We know that there's an equity question here, and certain groups may not have the same access to. We continue to work in partnership, so our team has met several times locally here with UFV teams and a variety of pieces. I've had an opportunity to meet with the UFV president on a few occasions around what opportunities exist between the school district and here locally with our post-sec institution, UFV, to create better partnership, to create more opportunity and more pathways, and how we do that together. And that will be a continued part of the work as we move forward. Another one of the board's priorities is early learning. And there's a picture of our new bus and some of the work happening with our curriculum department and our ways to both support early learning and engage our community around the importance of early learning. And so I don't have all the details for you. This is a new project that we're actioning and putting in place, an opportunity and a partnership that's become available for us. And this idea of how we work in connection to community programs and services. We've expanded our parent and taught evening programs. And so we need to continue to look at this area of early learning and innovate and find different ways in which we can improve our work in this area. And we have a great team that's currently doing the work, led by Director Tracy Chris. And just to punctuate that, childcare remains a need, and you saw these highlights earlier in the year around the numbers and the need in terms of childcare on school grounds. And certainly over the course of the last couple of months, Ministry of Education and Childcare have changed some things and made available some different possibilities, but that's tempered with some economic realities and what is possible. And so, again, we'll continue to look at and examine what potential possibilities lie with early learning and childcare. With that, I'd like to share with you a video that captures my mid-year report to you. So far this school year, I've had the chance to spend time talking with our students across our district and asking them some big questions. What do you want your future to look like? What skills will you need? What gives you confidence? And the answers they share are always inspiring. They talk about solving real-world problems using technology with confidence, feeling connected, and making a difference. Moments like these remind me that no matter where students are in their journey, whether they're just starting in kindergarten or preparing for life after graduation, our work isn't just about the current school year. It's about preparing them for the world they're stepping into. As we head into spring break, it's a good moment to reflect on the progress we're making across our strategic plan, with a clear focus on student success. Throughout the district, schools are strengthening literacy and numeracy through consistent frameworks and data-informed teaching. Educators are working together to better understand where students are in their learning and how to support their next steps. That means helping students grow as readers and writers while building the confidence to think critically, solve problems, and communicate their ideas. In numeracy, students are applying mathematical thinking in real situations and developing the problem-solving skills they'll use throughout their lives. We also know how students experience school matters. Research shows that well-being, including safety, connection, and support, can account for 10 to 25% of the differences in literacy and numeracy outcomes. Strengthening student voice and creating welcoming, inclusive learning environments remains an important part of our work. We've expanded early learning opportunities for families this year, including additional parent and taught evening programs, and the new plans for mobile supports that will help connect families with community services. Meanwhile, we continue to strengthen engagement with families and our broader community by sharing the work happening in our schools and building stronger connections across the district. At the same time, we continue supporting the people who make all of this work possible by enhancing mentoring programs, strengthening leadership development, and supporting employee well-being. As we move into the final months of the school year, I'm excited to see what our students will accomplish. Every day in our schools, students are learning, growing, and discovering what they're capable of, supported by the dedication of our educators and the many teams across the district who help our schools run and our students succeed. I'm looking forward to seeing how our students finish the year. Each of them brings something unique and important to our schools, and we're proud to be part of their journey. And with that,
Well, thank you, Superintendent Ning, and thank you to you and the amazing staff we have in our school district for giving us so many reasons to be proud of what's going on in our schools, with the understanding, of course, we have more work to do. All right, with that, questions or comments? And I'm going to take one question from, and then we'll go around a second time if we need. Trustee Keller.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Superintendent Ing, for that amazing, incredible presentation. And again, thank you, Christy, for that video. Those are always amazing. Quick question, and then a comment. I'll lead with the question. I appreciate seeing the objective around increasing student participation in extracurricular activities. I'm just curious, do we have any early indicators showing whether participation is increasing, and are there particular programs that are seeing strong growth?
yeah, I'd have to look. I don't know specifically, Trustee Keller. I would imagine when so part of the project that we're doing with Chart Lab, we're actually going to be measuring student engagement again. And that there might be, depending on the project that a particular school took, they might have looked at participation in school activities and our ability. So I could bring that back once we have that concluded. I would say generally the board's commitment to one, at the middle school level, provide some additional support to have, for example, our athletic directors available to do some planning certainly has helped in terms of having staff who are able to help organize some of those pieces, and that's specific to sport. I know at the secondary level, some support in the transportation, and we've actually had, we had the Mowat football team earlier this year who made it to the provincial final, and I know that support to get the team there, as an example, again, appreciated, and certainly that's something that those students will remember. We have our Nights of Music that's coming up, and again, I think that is a unique opportunity that really supports the engagement of students. And then the variety of different kinds of clubs or after-school lunchtime activities definitely does contribute. And I think anecdotally, I will say yes. And we've heard some of that when we've come together in our district planning team and we hear from kids about the importance of that piece. And that's also where they connect with adults too. And again, we know the importance of that. So I'm happy to bring back, and I'd have to go get some more specific numbers for like people who've engaged, but I would say anecdotally that remains an important part. Certainly when I've gone around and asked kids, that is an important part of their experience.
I appreciate that because a busy mind is a healthy mind. And I also appreciated seeing the cost avoidance that we achieved through Canva for Education, $70,000 saved, and it is definitely an incredible and amazing tool. So thank you for all the work that you do.
Thank you.
See, Rob?
Yes, thank you, Chair Peterson. Thanks, Superintendent Neng, for that great presentation. Yeah, I was reflecting a little bit on slide page 35 here, the connection between student well-being and academic success. And one can frame that in two ways. We can think about it as well-being helping academics, but also academics helping well-being. The two are so related. And we've talked about that as a board. And in our district planning meetings, we heard a lot, just looking at numeracy right now. I love the slide that talked about math is what you learn and numeracy is how you use it. And you all know I'm an engineer, so really that's applied science, right? So how science and math works in the world. So I was curious to know, students shared that math would be more interesting if it's relatable to the world. I'm curious to know if we've begun a project at all that could make math more relatable in our schools.
Yeah, there continues to be ongoing conversations, right? It's a pedagogy piece, it's an assessment piece around how we're instructing and then how we're assessing, right? And certainly I've heard the same thing from young people around the area of math and our continued understanding of what it means from a numeracy perspective. So in terms of the inquiry-based piece and the application, I would say yes, it's happening. I had the recent opportunity to attend the Rick Hansen event. I think this was about, I want to say a month ago. My weeks start to blur. But just the presentations of learning of some of the students where they're taking some of their learning and they're applying it to real life situations, right? And some of those students definitely see application of math or numeracy. And we've had some conversations with FE, and one of the things we talked about is that's something they're doing around taking skills and applying it to real life problems and how we engage in some opportunities down the road with that. So I'd say we're stepping into it, and we probably have some teachers that are more comfortable in that area. Our curriculum department and working with Assistant Superintendent Bruce Cunnings is helping to shape some of that work for our secondary, and we see evidence of that through a variety of forms. But we still get feedback from our young people that they'd like to see more of it.
Okay, thank you. That's great to hear. And one quick follow-up. I said it was a great presentation, but you left out one critical piece. You've talked to us lots about how much you've been going into schools and visiting schools, and I thought you might want to share that with the public.
Sure. I have been in 27 schools to date, and I've had typically a visit will consist of about 2 hours, and I get an opportunity to have a conversation with our principal and vice principal teams around our strategic plan and their school plan and the connections, along with an opportunity to visit some classrooms and talk to some young people, and then importantly speak with staff. And so just an opportunity to be in conversation with staff around the great work that's happening and to hear about areas that they need support in. And so it's been a great opportunity, and I'm on track to be in all 46 schools by the time we hit June.
That's great to hear. Human connection. Super. Thank you.
Trustee Wilson.
Thank you very much, Chair Peterson, Superintendent Ning. Thank you for this. It's always interesting. We get a report and a report and a report, and now it's consolidated into one, and it helps bring that all together to one place for that big picture, which is our job. So thank you for the report. It's really great to see what's been happening and ongoing, actually. I just wanted to make, not so much question, commentary on the educated citizen. Not most people don't know or may not recall that it was actually written in 1989. And one of the first statements that came out was, an educated citizen accepts the tolerant and multifaceted nature of Canadian society and are motivated to participate actively in our democratic institutions. The goal, and that's still around, but that was the original piece, and intent to contribute to the economy of the province, interestingly enough. I also just want to comment, and I know this is coming up with Trustee Rye's motion, but great teachers and educational leaders, when this was rewritten in 2024, it was noted that great teachers and educational leaders have always been the key to student success, and that's highly recognized. But also, as I mentioned, it was rewritten in November 2024. It still goes through not just what you posted, but the rights and responsibilities of students, of families, etc. There are two pieces that are for both private and public, but there's also statements that are strictly for the public education system. And I'm glad to see that it has stood the test of time, and that really throughout the years it's had some modifications, but not significant, because the student is still the center of the discussion, and I think that's really cool. And thank you for placing it front and center of your report and for your reference to each student. That's all. I don't have any questions. Each and every. Thank you.
Other questions, comments? Trustee Rye. Trustee Rye.
Just a quick, about the early learning bus. I think we had one before, and this is the upgraded one or the new one. Or, like, so where does it go and what does it do? Just to
Details still to be determined. It's a new partnership being headed by Director Tracy Grayson with the support of many. An opportunity that came to us from the organization with the purpose of to communities go harder. And so 34 party the I guess the I don't call it donation, but part of the contract is mobile, right? And bring that early learning information into community to share with them, getting it's off to a good start at 0 o'clock. And so we're working on the details of what the logistics will look like. The opportunity came to us over the contract, and given the geography of Abbotsford, we thought so. I'll more in the future to bring to you, but I wanted to highlight because this really demonstrates trying to be innovative. The idea of community partnership and the idea of.
thank you. I would love to hear about this once the
We'll bring it to the board office and we can take a tour at one point.
And if they need a bus driver, I'm sure you're available, right?
Definitely.
Well, thank you. It's great to see our strategic plan live and well, and, I know this will continue to be a major part of our discussion as we move along, but thank you for that report. With that, let's move to operations. You'll see, and as part of our agenda, that we have an updated 2026-27 budget calendar. It's a bit of a change from last year's, and we're asked to approve that calendar as we go through all the processes of budget ratification and then pass it in June.
Moved with appreciation by Wilson.
Moved by Trustee Wilson.
Seconded, Taylor.
Second by Trustee White. And
I would just like to comment, Chair Peterson, that I would like to, through you, to the Secretary Treasurer, thank you for the update. It's very clear, and easy to understand, appreciated.
And a few more voting buttons yet. And the next item, Fortis BC is looking for a right-of-way to do some work on the property of Samath Elementary. It's a statutory right-of-way, so, but we are required to pass it through a budget bylaw. We're looking to approve
Second,
all three
Wilson.
readings. All right, so move to approve all three readings by trustee Rye, seconded by trustee Wilson. And question?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that it's a statutory right-of-way for a gas service on the property that the city, or that the school district owns, is that right? Yeah, it's not to an adjacent property or anything like that, right? It's for our own property. Okay, I thought so. I didn't look up the PID.
All right.
Move first reading.
Okay, we're just, oh, there we go. Move first reading, trustee Wilson, seconded trustee Rouch. Okay, let's keep going.
Trustee Wyatt moved, second reading.
Kaler, second.
Move trustee White, seconded trustee Kaler. And who wants to read our third? Oh, couple more buttons to press here. And who wants to read our third? All right, trustee Rouch.
So move that the school district, sorry.
That the school district number 34 Abbotsford property disposition bylaw number 90 be given third reading, reconsidered, and finally passed and adopted on this 10th day of March 2026.
Thank you for that. Seconded by trustee Rye. All right. Well, gosh, we finished operations already. So, under committee reports, our policy committee has a report. I'll turn it over to trustee Wilson.
Thank you, Chair Peterson. It is my pleasure to highlight on behalf of the board, first of all, just reflecting, I will talk about policy review in just 1 second. I just want to reflect that there are elements of the work of the board that do take priority above other things in our governance role. One is the hiring of the superintendent. One is we are responsible for the budget. And 3 is that policy and strategic direction are things that we set. And it's very important work that we do in this regard. And when I saw the report, I had been contacted when I was chair for a couple of these items. We have exemplars that are highlighted. There are 4 of them. Even if I'm not his fan anymore, I still would like to give our former Secretary Treasurer Ray Belisek a shout out for this, because you see his fingerprint on these as well. And these boards that are in the process of doing this work are looking to us and to these other exemplars for the work that they are doing, most of them coming up in the next term. With that, I will turn it back to staff through the chair, through to the superintendent and secretary treasurer for anything further.
Any further comments on this?
Thank you for the words. I would agree with everything you said, and I'm very grateful that the work has been done. And I'm coming into a position with a board that has the work done, and we can move forward.
And just echo just the board and the policy that you have.
Aye.
Just to know their like Superintendent Ning said, the examples used by in the policy guide from Abbotsford, but some of the other policies from other districts were also from Abbotsford, which I think somehow they took over.
Here, here.
Good job, Policy Committee. All right. Yeah, under new business, we have a motion from Trustee Rye.
Thank you, Peterson. Before I read the motion out, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that the incredible work being done every single day by the employees of our Abbotsford School District. And across our classrooms, schools, district operations, these individuals who show up every day with dedication, professionalism, and genuine care for the students. Our staff work with a diverse student population and often navigate complex and changing circumstances. So as a Board of Education, it's important that we recognize and acknowledge that dedication. And take a moment to say thank you. So for that reason, I believe it's important that the Chair, on behalf of the Board, send a letter of appreciation to all employees of Abbotsford School District, thanking them for the contributions that they make each and every day. And I'll just give an example. A few days ago, weeks ago, sorry.
I'm going to ask for a seconder to that motion
I will
first.
second that, Wilson.
Okay, Trustee Wilson seconded. Thank you.
So just give an example. A few days ago, weeks ago, for privacy reasons, we go to so many meetings. At one of the meetings, there was a staff member who was explaining how a student who was not coming to school and what the staff member, other people were telling what the staff member did. They went above and beyond every day to look after that student, and towards the end, the staff member was picking up the student from their house every day in the morning. That, I believe, is dedication. And it's just not that one example, the whole school district staff member does like that. So I would really encourage us to approve this motion and thank our staff.
Other comments? Trustee Wilson.
Thank you very much, and thank you for bringing this forward, Trustee Rye. This is really an important letter that would be written once we pass this motion. I think it's important to recognize not just, as I mentioned before, the educators and the educational leaders, but everybody that is involved in the well-being and the support and the positive success that comes to a student, each student, every student. Because if we didn't have our custodians, if we didn't have our secretaries, bus drivers, if we didn't have our dedicated educators and those who report to the superintendent or to the secretary treasurer, all of those roles, each of those roles, when they are done in the positive way that they are in our district, our student success would not be as great as it is. And while I reflect that, yes, there are still some places room for improvement, our staff are committed to that. And for that, I support this motion. Thank you.
Others? Trustee Kaler.
Thank you, Chair, and again, thank you, Trustee Rye, for bringing this forward. It is absolutely true that we have phenomenal people on our team here with the Abbotsford School District, whether that's APVP, whether that's our teachers, support staff. It's incredible. So thank you for putting this forward. It's much needed.
Trustee Roach.
Yeah, I just wanted to reflect, sometimes we as a board, we're always looking for ways to get better and to improve. And sometimes the comments we make are then, by that very nature and that goal, focused on areas where we need to get better or where we could get better. And sometimes that doesn't sound as positive as it might in the public forum. So I just hope our staff understands the reasons for which we have debates and motions and goals, and that we recognize the amazing job that they do every single day for students.
Well said. Anybody else? Okay. Well, I'm just going to say that, yeah, I couldn't agree with the motion more. And, I've said forever that the reason we can be proud of the school district is the staff that works here. So I think it's very appropriate that we pass this letter on. So With that, it's been, and, oh, you get to close there, trustee Rai. Yes, of course.
I can just close it with sentence. Our staff is truly the heart of the schools. So, and like Trustee Wilson said, it's not just our teachers, it's all staff. Bus drivers, it's custodians, it's including our superintendent. So thank you.
Thank you, trustee Rai, for bringing this forward. I think very appropriate.
To the board to agreeing support this motion. Really appreciate it.
All right. Okay, and as always, you... Oh, two more. Oh, okay.
Trustee White?
All right. As always, we see a list of the many meetings and events that we've attended as a board. You get to pick your very favorite one and report on it if you so choose. So, anybody want to highlight? Yes, Trustee Wilson.
Thank you so much, Chair Peterson. Many of us had the opportunity and the privilege to attend the Fraser Valley Cultural Diversity Awards. And for the third time in the history of presenting this award, we had one of our very own students present an award by the board chair. Congratulations to our student, Ailan. And it's a really great event. It reminds us across the Fraser Valley how important the work that we're doing in education. Our own district was nominated for an award as well. Hats off to Christy sitting somewhere over here. Hats off. It was nice to be mentioned, even if we didn't walk away with that award. But that's okay, because there are so many deserving people. It's a difficult process to go through for the judges, and these were outstanding nominations. But did I mention that one of our students won, and that really brings me joy. So one of our very active, engaged students. So great event, and I'm glad that we could attend.
Thank you. Anybody else? Trustee Roach.
Yeah, I just wanted to reflect. I always appreciate and like most the events that we go to that involve our school district the most. And the student meetings that we have, the district meetings, the last one we had was focused on career. And for students, especially in grades, 9, 10, 11, and 12 in high school, they're really starting to anticipate what they might do post-secondary, and that might be trades or work or a gap year or university. And hearing from them really was great, and I hope we prioritize the students. Thanks.
Right, thank you. Yes, Trustee White.
Red light's on. Is that better? Okay, anyways. Well, as I was saying, I was invited with a few others to go up to Summit Bible College in Abbotsford. A lot of people don't know that exists, but it is high in the hills of Claiborne. It's a beautiful campus, a small school, reaches a niche market, but it was good for us to be aware that it was there, because there are a lot of our students that do end up going there, and it's just good for them to be aware that that's a opportunity if they happen to be so inclined in that direction.
You stole my thunder on that. That's what I was going to report on, but it was great. And they served us a great meal, and they couldn't have been more friendly. And remember, we asked how many of our students, how many public education students go to that, and he came back with between 6 and 7% come from our school district. Yeah, so it's nice to hear that too. Trustee Kaler.
Thank you, Chair. I've attended 10 of the events listed, plus so many more. It's truly an honor to show up for community and be a part of such incredible events. And to echo Trustee Wilson's comments at the Fraser Valley Cultural Diversity Awards, it is important to champion all students, especially when it's one of ours. So it's been a great month. Thank you.
Well, I think that's it. Goodness sakes. One last task is to check and see if we have any online questions or any questions?
We do not.
And we have none. My goodness sakes. All right. Well, we must have explained things so very well that they have no questions. Trustee Rouch.
I'm going to be the broken record again. I asked for this last time too, that we have an email address somewhere on our website. And maybe we should just put it on the agenda as well, because I don't think people know how to ask a question. We haven't received a question that I can recall while being on the board through email. So, anyway, unless somebody here can log onto their phone right now and find out how to ask a question, I'll be impressed if you can do it in less than 2 minutes.
Well, we'll ask our staff to check into that to make it easy.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. With that, Guinness Book of Records, we are adjourned.